Let's get drunk at the director's garage. Let's get drunk at the director's garage. It don't matter wherever you are. Let's all get drunk at the director's garage.
I know this show is supposed to happen on a Wednesday, but I got drunk and couldn't make the gig. So I packed up my headphones and I headed out the door. And here we are today. Time to get this show started. The whiskey's pouring, grab yourself a beer. Everything's ready, the director is here. Time to get loose, join the entourage. Let's all get drunk at the director's garage.
Couldn't think of a better reason not to get drunk at the director's garage. How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I am your host and resident idiot, Michael. And today we're wearing the Apollos again. I just didn't change them out for any reason since last Friday. I just left them on my desk. So that's why we're using the Apollos today. Lots to talk about today. Speaking of Noble and the Apollo, these headphones are the headphones I use most in my world. More than anything else here, period. These I use at least an hour a day minimum. And that's because I do some exercising, and these are the headphones that accompany me when I exercise. These are the Noble Audio Mystiques. Come in a nice case, typical Bluetooth fare, but it's really good for working out. They've been with me for years, and I've taken them on the road with me, and I've taken them all over the world. And also sweat in them every single day. Because I am not pretty when I'm working out. I'm like, oh, so I really go for it. Anyway, the right earbud started giving me some nonsense yesterday. It was, it like dimmed down. It was kind of interesting. And I was sort of touching them on the sides. I was fumbling with them. I had forgot to put them in the case overnight, and they got left out, and maybe they discharged, I don't know, whatever. But I for whatever reason, the right channel was suddenly not cooperating and giving me full volume. So everything was sort of left of center, which makes you walk, like around in circles. No, it doesn't. But it's like, you're just like following the balance of the headphones. So I tried resetting them. I tried doing all sorts of stuff with them. I followed the manual, did some logical things with them. And finally at midnight, I gave up. I wrote Kai Moulton, who's the nephew of Jim Moulton, who's one of the owners, and John Moulton founded it. His uncle founded Noble Audio. And I just wrote, I said, Kai, what am I doing wrong? These things suddenly aren't working for me right, and I did something. I know it's user error. And he's like, you may have fried out a driver. It's possible the drivers go sometimes in these things, and these are old. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe. And then so there was a couple of emails back and forth, and I went to bed, and I woke up this morning, and I left them charging overnight, and they're fine. So they're back to normal. But then I was on my walk, and I swear I heard the right ear channel drop out for about 20 seconds. So maybe there is something going on with these. Anyway, he may get me a pair replacement, something. Or he said I can't. He goes, I don't have any. We don't service these, and they're out of production. So he's going to see if he can do something for me, which would be much appreciated. I'm such a huge fan of these. really love these headphones, like profoundly. I have the other one. I have the H-ANC. It's fine. These are special. That's my situation with the Nobles. Let's talk about some baseball. Because my Dodgers, who I think I said Dodgers in 5 was my prediction. I said I thought they might lose game 2. They lost game 1. And I've got to say, Toronto is just outplaying these guys. They are out. They look fantastic. Oh, by the way, my voice is a little shot because I just got back from working out. I smoked 3 cartons of cigarettes on my walk, and it's very hot in LA today. And when it gets hot like this, there's a lot of dust in the air, so it gets in my lungs, and I'm like, I'm hacking for a little bit. So, but the Dodgers, Dodgers have just fallen asleep a little bit. The one thing I credited them with and during their run that made them look so good is they played great. They played a great game. Meaning they didn't have stupid errors. They didn't do stupid things. And yesterday, it's like that. They just forgot all about that. They made dumb errors. They didn't make smart pitches. And Toronto, to their credit, has played impeccable, stellar baseball. That's fun to watch. And I've had a great time in this series. And if they go on to win and win the series, hats off to them. They 100% earned it and deserve to win. And maybe they do anyway, regardless of what happens the rest of the series. We have to see how it shakes out. Just interesting. There's interesting things. What else have we got? Friday, after we got off the air, late in the day, I got an email from the TV Academy saying that if I wanted to order my Emmy, I can go ahead and do so. And I said, I don't recall winning an Emmy. Well, it turns out the 2025 Emmy Awards, what do they call it? The eligibility period stretches all the way back to June of 24. And as long as you have 19% of the year with the show, you qualify. And apparently I just got in under the wire. So I won Emmy number 11 and I didn't even know it. And so I won't be ordering the statue because I've got 8 of them and I have 9 of them actually. 10th one I didn't buy, and the 11th one I probably won't buy either. I gave one to my mom and I have 8 of them, and I'm like, that's plenty. That's ridiculous. Overkill. So there you go. But it was surprising that I'm calling this one my Clayton Kershaw Emmy. Because really, it's more of a participation thing at this point. Yeah, he came in and pitched 1 inning, but pitched 1 out of 1 inning in the series. But he'll get the ring. So I got the ring. I got the shiny ring, even though I was gone for most of the year. So my Clayton Kershaw, I'm going to nickname this one Clayton Kershaw. So funny. Get your questions in about the Raal and Magna. Happy to talk about any aspect of that. If you agree, disagree, whatever it is, put it in the chat. We'll get to it. My other problem is dishwasher repair. I'm going to bitch for a minute because this happens. I think everybody can identify with this. So, walked into the kitchen in June, and the dishwasher, which was off, was running. There was a pump that was running under the dishwasher nonstop, wouldn't shut off. So I called a repair company. They came out. They said that's the float sensor, the thing that determines how much water, when the tank is full. It's stuck open, so you got to replace that. I said fine, replace it. They replace it. 3 months later, walk into the kitchen, exact same thing. The phantom dishwasher is just running like crazy. Well, you better go catch it. Remember that bad joke? So it's running like crazy. It's just going on and on and on. And I'm like, oh, jeez, same exact problem. So I called the repair company. I said, hey, I got the same issue. It's running again. And I said, is it under warranty? They said, no, it's not under warranty. I said, how long is the warranty? They said 90 days. And I said, well, by my count, I have a week and a half left on the warranty, and you need to come out here and repair it. Oh, Oh, okay. So they sent out a repairman. Repairman comes out and says, oh yeah, there's a problem with it, but it's a different part. I said, it's the same symptom. How can it be a different part? He said, no, it's the friend. It's the pump this time. And I said, the pump. I said, that doesn't make sense because the pump is running nonstop. That's sorry, I got to answer something here real quick. Anyway, so the pumps. So I'm like, so you're telling me that it's got the same symptom, but it's a different part, and now it's not covered under warranty because the same part didn't break, and it's going to be a more expensive part. After you tried to deny me that the warranty was even valid. Crazy, blood boiling stuff. So they said, okay, I'm going to order the part and then I'll get back to you. I said, fine. What am I going to do? I need to get this thing working. I can't sell a house with one of the dishwashers. We have 2 dishwashers in the kitchen. Well, one of them not working. It's not going to sell. So I'm like, there's a problem here. So month goes by. This is a month and a half ago. And I finally called them this morning and I said, what's going on, dudes? This thing isn't fixed yet. And they said, oh, let me have the manager call you back. The manager calls me back and says, oh yeah, the part that you need is no longer in service, so we're terminating this repair case. The pump, which what he told me was bad. The pump, which is in 50 other dishwashers. I mean, it's the same pump. These pumps go in every dishwasher. Doesn't matter if it's Viking or Wolf or whatever. They all use the same basic components. Unbelievable. So I'm now going to have to hire a different company to come out and fix it. And then I'm going to have to go after the other company and say, you lied to me. And it was under warranty. So there you go. That was my dishwasher story. That's where I'm at today on that. Paid the property taxes today. I am $12,500 poorer that I didn't have in the first place. Guys, home ownership, it's fantastic. House is on the market. Buy it. Okay, we can talk about the Amanis and the Magnum. I'm letting you guys get any questions you have down in there, and then we'll just kind of go through it all at once. I have viewer photos today. That's going to be coming. So we've got Nephilim sent me some photos of his Thio rig, his slightly adjusted Thio rig. Oh, I can also show you a change I made to the website. Subtle change, not a major thing, but let's go to it. Laptop of death. The pages are all laid out the same way as before, but they're now inverted. They're kind of a little more stylish. And there's a merch store button, and the YouTube channel links are up here on the right-hand side now. I wanted to separate them from the professional services. So you all know to go up here if you're looking for the merch store or the link to my channel, or you just go to the direct, you can. But I wanted to cover that for you, and I filled in some of the other pages that weren't filled in before. I did a news page, I did a production tab for anybody who's interested in hiring me as a producer, director, camera person, whatever. So there's nice stuff up there. Go to directorsgarage.com to check it out. But the merch store and all that stuff is still there. I just had to move it for the sake of clarity and not confuse people who are coming to hire me for something, because the point of the website is to get a job. Sell stuff. Sell merch stuff. Like this shirt, which you can get over there. This wonderful t-shirt. Love this stuff. Love this stuff. Where's the hat? Now the hat's not around today. It's usually always around because, I'm bald. So much fun. So, the website I finished up last weekend. I was back to the Dodgers for a second. I was watching that long game, the game that went 18 innings. And I was watching it as I was finishing up the episode. I didn't finish up the Raal Amanis review until 5:30 in the morning on Tuesday morning, and I went live with that episode at 7 a.m. Crazy, right? So I worked through the night on it, and I only got like 2 hours of sleep that night, and then I got up and did my day stuff. I suffer for my art, boys. Don't think I don't put my all into these episodes. I really do. I was up until 5:30 in the morning cutting. But the thing is with the show, I know that a Tuesday episode rates best for me. So it's best for me to get the episodes out on a Tuesday morning. It's all even better if I get it out at 7 a.m. because on the East Coast, that's the middle of the East Coast, and that's right as everybody on the West Coast is getting up. It's a perfect time. I get a lot of hits right out of the gate when I do that. And then the other thing is if I hold off to Wednesday, that screws up the live stream, because I don't like to do the live stream on the same day I release. I won't do a live stream on the same day I release an episode, because YouTube promotes the latest content, whatever it is. So they're going to promote my live stream over the episode that I spent hours and days and days and days and days making. So there you go. So there you go. Let's see. Oh, next up for us is a mystery box, which I'm going to shoot this week. And it's a mystery to you. I know something of what's in it. Certainly have never heard it before. And I will tip this to you for tuning in today. It is an eStat headphone. It's going to be an eStat. So we've got a new eStat headphone coming our way, and that's what I'm going to share with you. You can make out of that, take your guesses as to what it is, but it's you probably won't be able to guess it. It's not what you think, and it's not what you think. But it is an eStat, so we're going to have an eStat episode next. I've already got my X9000 wired up and fired up and ready to do some comparisons to it when we do this one. I was going to shoot it today, and then I thought, no, I want to do the live stream today. Tomorrow, the new dishwasher repairman guy is coming out, so I'm going to be doing that instead. But any comments you have on the Amanus episode, I'm more than happy to talk about that today. I know there was some controversy over the what was it called? It said I was what was the comment? I had a comment that I was too enthusiastic about it. Let me go to. I've got to find the comment. No, got to find the comment. Something about I was too enthusiastic about the headphone in my review and too excited about it, and then I needed to calm down. And I was fanboying over them. So here's the thing for me. I say that I won't. Oh, I gushed. That was the term. They said I was gushed. It was Neil who said it. Fair, Neil. You know, anybody is free to criticize anything I do. Lord knows I'm not without fault, or whatever. But my point that I made back to Neil was that I don't mind gushing over a product that's worth gushing over. I would be upset if I was gushing over a product that I just had liked, that I thought was okay. This is a product that gave me a world-class experience. This was one of the best headphone experiences I've ever had, period. And it's the best headphone experience I've certainly had in this studio. And the only one that came close is my Sesfara with the Ray Samuels B21 Raider. That's a magical experience. But the ribbons are, to me, they're just fantastic. But what I would also say is that I'm not fanboying over these things to get people to go out and buy them, because I said in my review at the end, I don't think you should go out and buy this headphone. And the reason is that the cost of the Amanus doesn't stop with the purchase of the headphone. If you buy this thing and you put it on your nice rig, a FiO amp, a Hollow Spring amp, or Was it the L10, the linear tube audio LTA10? Buy that. You can put it on that. You can put it on anything from head amp. They're not going to impress you. They're going to sound like an okay set of headphones. They're going to sound like they're good. They're good. But are they better than my Hollow Spring with a Caldera, or with a Meze Elite, or with a Audeze LCD-4? No, they're not, and they're not better than any of my ESTAT rigs with from the Carbon to the X9000. If you put this on a regular amp, an expensive, nice amp, but a regular amp, they're going to sound normal. They're going to sound like an average pair of headphones. If you buy that headphone, and you bought it, obviously, to get everything you can out of that headphone, you need to buy a compatible amplifier. Like the B21 Raider, or the Riviera AIC-10, which I have not heard, but it gets raves. It's going to need a headphone with way above the line current. You're going to be prepared to dump another, on top of the $10,000 plus that the headphone cost you, you're going to need to dump another $10,000 into just an amplifier. Oh, and by the way, you better have a good DAC too, because if you don't have a good DAC, it's going to tell you or show you how bad your DAC is. So these things are very important to remember when you are considering the purchase of this ribbon driver headphone. Even if you buy the Magnet, $6,000, $7,000, whatever they're running now, I don't have the exact pricing because I know that the tariffs have affected the price of the headphone. They've gone up because it's costing them more money to get them in the country now because they're made in Europe. So everybody's having to pick up the cost. So it's costing more. But you can't expect a $4,000 or $5,000 headphone amp to push these and make them special. They're not. They're not going to. And everybody I've talked to about this seems to be on the same page. And the complaints are the people who have heard these and said, I don't think they're that special. Haven't been listening to them on the right gear. I will die on that hill. I don't believe whatever you're hearing them on, because I heard them at Can Jam and they underwhelmed me. But they were on the Felix Envy, and they were on, which is, by the way, a $9,000 amp. Couldn't push them. Didn't ring, even come close to ringing them out. And the Viva, which is a $17,000 tube amplifier, didn't impress me. Didn't impress me in the least. Ray Samuels, high gain. You're talking about 20 watts, I think it is. 60 volts peak to peak. So it's 120. It's banana. And then you're pushing 20 dB of gain at them on top of it. Then they start performing. That's when this headphone came alive. Should anybody do this? Probably not. And I don't think anybody should like if you have gobs of money sitting around doing nothing and you want to go play with these things, go with it. I also think that it's stupid if you're just getting into this hobby to start out by going, I just want the best thing I can buy, so I'm going to go out and buy the HE1. Or I just get into this hobby and I really want the best, so I'm going to go buy the Imanis and a Riviera AIC-10, so north of 20 grand for the amp. It will be fine, and I've got the best thing, I don't have to worry about it. Well, part of this hobby is learning what it is you appreciate about the sound of something, right? So if you start out at the very, very top, oh, I have the best. Well, you don't have any perspective. You don't understand what the best is. You don't understand why it's the best. You don't understand what you're buying into. what is it about this that you appreciate? Oh, it's just the best. That's not, qualify that for me. Tell me what qualities that, well, they couldn't tell you because you're just buying something to buy it. It's like I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini Rialto because I can. And it's like, well, you don't have any perspective. Like buy like a nice sports car first, like a Porsche or something, then go to the Lamborghini because you'll appreciate it. You know what I mean? You can't appreciate what the Lamborghini is doing different if you have no perspective what anything under it is doing. So all of those things are very, very important. And then the other side of that is use your own ears. Don't listen to me. Don't take my advice. Don't ever take my advice. Don't ever take anybody's advice on YouTube. Listen to this stuff yourself, because what I appreciate, you may not. What I hear, you may not. What any of you out there saying, oh, this is the best, says, may not ring true to me because I hear differently than you do, biologically. I just do. There are things that I enjoy that you may not. You may like a lot of treble. I don't like a lot of treble. Treble annoys me when it gets too much. If you love it, great. I'll tell you, this has too much treble. I don't like it. It's not for me. Usually I won't say I won't like it. I'll say, these aren't for me. But if you like treble, this will give you that experience. Because I don't like to just crap on somebody's product. I like to realize that somebody spent a lot of time in development putting effort into making whatever the product is, whether it's a phone or whatever. Years of development go into these things. They don't get made overnight. And somebody put their heart and soul and a good chunk of their life into making this product, and I'm going to appreciate that. It may not, excite all of my senses, as any piece of gear should. But I'm going to acknowledge that there's a lot of work that went into this. Look at the case. Look at the shell. Look at the way these things fit. Look at the way that the Bluetooth does. Look at the clever use of lighting. Like the reset button. It's USB-C and it's on the back, so you can sit there and look at, like all the little details that I find interesting about a product. I'll relay to you. But the sound, may not be for me because I like a healthy bottom end on a headphone, and I like a treble that has great clarity, but is not overcompensating for the rest of the headphone, because headphones tend to do that. They like to put a lot of sparkle on something and think you won't notice the fact that the bass is muddy. The bass is muddy. And you have too much treble. My opinion. You're entitled to yours. But whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's going to hear differently, and everybody's going to appreciate something different, and everybody considers a certain level of expense for their gear as an absurd price, and everybody has to decide what that number is for themselves. $5,000 would have been an absurd amount of money to spend on anything headphone related 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now, it's kind of run-of-the-mill. Get a $5,000 headphone will put you near, into a very good second-tier headphone. Not going to be God tier, it'll be second tier. But it's going to be good. You're going to get a good experience out of it. And it'll probably be easy to drive. And you can put it on your Hall of Spring and be satisfied, as opposed to the Amanus, which you're going to think is pretty bad. Or you're not going to appreciate. So all of this stuff is perspective. So just keep that in mind. And so it's an interesting discussion to have. And I appreciated everything that, in this case, Neil had to say about the review. And I respect it. You have every right to say what you want to say about it. I'm going to defend it. I'm going to tell you why I said the things that I said and why I gushed over this headphone, because it is the other part of this is how many products. Go back and look at my episodes. From that I.O. Dolly to the I don't know, Yamaha, to the headphones that came in here, and I said, I don't feel like these products are worth their cost. Like, I'm looking at them and like, these are not well made. These are cheap plastic. They are compromises. The materials feel cheap to me. They don't feel like they're of a certain quality. There's, you know, there's a flimsiness to it. Perfect example right here. X9000. I said this on the review. This is a $6,000 headphone, folks. A $6,000 headphone that has horrible pleather for this headband. I don't have the overhead camera on right now, but horrible leather up top. It's got a springy, wiry band that has a tacked-in damper that was added with screws, with a screw plate on the bottom at the last minute, because somebody touched these and went, oh crap, they're ringing and I can hear it in the headphone. We better put a damper in rather than re-engineer the band properly. They didn't. Plastic hinges that will break over time because they're plastic. This is not going to last forever. They're going to break at some point, and you're going to have to try and find that part. It may be in 10 years, it may be in 5 years, but it will break. It will break because it's cheap plastic. Unfinished business here. Go look at the original Omega that they sort of modeled this on. There's no screws, like Allen screws sitting on the out. This isn't an industrial choice. This was like, oh, let's fix it with posts and whatever, and we'll make it so it has an homage to the bed. This is not attractive, and they're not like, you know, they're not machined to the surface of the rest of the headphone. At the head pads, cheap pleather, not very well made, not removable. $6,000. I'm going to call them out on their shit. This is poorly made for $6,000. I should be getting a product that is much better for that money. Period. So when I get the Imanis, and everything is premium leather, everything is chosen specifically, every screw head is polished, they've made choices where to accent gold. They've used the most premium leather on the cups and on the top pad, and it's stitched with a diamond pattern that they, you know, and Alcantara. They put an absolute value on the design as much as the sound and the other things that you get. So what I'm saying is you get this product. It's going to be 10 grand, 10 plus grand. It feels like you're getting a $10,000 product. Look at the grill on the thing, the way it's stamped, the way it's polished, the way it's anodized, the way they've got the beautiful polished gold on it, or the silver. If you're buying the lower grade, you can get them in silver too, or whatever it is, plain. Point is, look at the hinge system. The elegant hinge system with polished gold caps on either end of the yoke. This is stuff that just screams premium. Screams premium. You feel like you're getting your money's worth. Yeah, I'm going to gush over them. I gushed over them. I gushed over it. The fact that they designed this thing very well, that they designed this Imanis. It looks like joy. Now, I did say that I can see where some people would think it's so fancy. It's such a fancy looking headphone, not for me. Okay, I'd acknowledge that, but you can't say that they look cheap or that they look, like they were just thrown together. These things are beautiful. You're paying for it, but they're beautiful, and they're very well made. So yeah, I gush. I gush when it's fair to gush. I also don't gush when it's fair to not gush. But if I like something, I'm going to tell you I like it, and then I told you why I liked it, and then I told you not to buy them because they're too expensive, and the price of the headphone is not the only price you have to consider when you buy these things. You're going to have to buy an amp to drive them to ring them out. You're going to have to. Because whatever you have right now, I guarantee it pretty much, unless you've got a B21 Raider, unless you've got an AIC-10, unless you've got one of these God tier $10,000 plus amps, it's not going to cut it. It's not going to make it. It's not going to push these headphones the way they need to be pushed to give you optimal sound. And if you're paying that much for optimal sound, you kind of want to hear it. You don't want to plug them in and go, they sound like my Caldera. They sound like my Sesfara. You know, nice, lots of detail, great. The excitement for this headphone comes when they're crazy amped, when they're overamped, when you've got too much on hand to push them. Then these things start responding and they start doing amazing things. Till then, it's ordinary. Go buy, if you've got like a normal amp, just go out and buy the best headphone you can. Look, the Sesfara, which I don't have out right now, Sesfara OG is $3,000 and under right now. You can buy a pair for $3,000. It's still, I think, the second best consumer headphone behind the Semanis. And it's 5-6 years old, and it's available now for about $3,000. Absolute steal. Modhouse Tungsten, $2,000 will get you most of the Sesfara sound with a richer bass response. Harder to drive than the Sesfara, but you don't need a God amp to drive it. It doesn't need that gain. It doesn't need all that. Like, you know, a good amp, an Enlium, something with decent power is going to push these things. Fine, no problem. And they'll give you the best sound out of them. Anyway, there you go, boys. 3:37. Wow, we've already been on the hour, almost an hour on the air. Okay, let's talk about it. Rest in peace to Jack DeJohnette. Who's Jack DeJohnette? I got to look that up real quick, fellas. I'm drawing a blank. Gonna look it up. Jack DeJohnette. American jazz pianist. Oh. Who do you play with? I'm not up on everybody. He played with Freddie Hubbard. Oh, Bill Evans. Drummer with Bill Evans. Oh, damn. I don't know all the players, folks. I try to know as much as I can about this stuff, but I don't always know. All right. Well, we're going to go find some Jack DeJohnette tonight. Thanks, Gil. Oh my gosh, epic Amanus review, Michael. What a nice breath of fresh air you brought into our ever curious audiophile minds. Also, Jason 6. Yep, it's happening, my friend. It may, and if it happens, hats off to the Jays. They really surprised me. Well, pitching a runner from first to home is getting overplayed for sure. Yes. Oh, wild pitching. Yes. Yeah, they're making bad mistakes, and they don't look like a team that should win the World Series. So my hat's off to the Jays. I thought that the Dodgers had their class, and I think if they had maybe played with no layoff, maybe that would have been the case. But okay. Nephilim, the Amanus is the Shohei Ohtani of baseball. The GOAT. I think we need more perspective on that. Lord knows they cost almost as much as Shohei Ohtani. Nephilim's going to do one rude tongue-in-cheek joke. What do you do if your dishwasher breaks down? You slap her. Oh boy. That's a bad... That's trouble. The only thing is the joke in this household is that I do the dishes. I'm the dishwasher. She's the clothes washer. She does the clothes. I do the dishes. Because I like the kitchen. I like spending time in the kitchen. I like cooking. So she does not cook. Mrs. Director's cooking methodology is if it's burnt enough to where you won't get poisoned by it, it's perfectly done. She cooks the taste out of everything. I do the cooking. Headamp CFA3 would not be up to the task of driving the Imanis. I think they will make sound. They will do, you know, the difference. I'm not referring to can it give the amp, can it provide the headphone with enough power to make sound? There's a difference between making sound and giving you the best experience from what the headphone can do. And I'm telling you that the CFA3 will make sound. It's not going to push these things to their optimal. I promise you that. Wild to think that Kevin Jock says, wild to think that a $10,000 solution is actually going to cost more like $30,000 after all the source gear. Yeah. It's like, you know, if you buy a pair of, I'll use them because I know them so well, Vandersteen 7s. They're going to cost you like 50, 60, 70 grand or something like that. 70 grand maybe now. If you think you're going to put that on your Pioneer or your Marantz receiver and wring the most out of them, you're on drugs. Well, you're buying a $10,000 ribbon driver headphone that's very sensitive to impedance and current. And if you think you're going to power them with something that is underpowered, pushing high gain, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So it's just, you know, I'm saying, like, I'm not saying that you should go out and do it even. I'm just saying that it's a no for me. Well, I mean, you know, I also said this. If I could trade, I would happily trade my X9000 LCD-4 Caldera I listed something else, Elite, whatever, or any combination of those headphones. Like I'll give you the X9000 and the Abyss 1266 TC for one Imanis. Happily, I'd do it. I'd make that trade tomorrow. That's how much I think of those headphones, and I put my money where my mouth is. I always do, except I don't have any money right now. But I mean it. Like that's how much I think. You know, and I've always, you know, just like that's what I would want to buy personally. I don't have them. They're gone, and I've missed them every single day that they're not here. Danny has hinted that he may lend them back to me for a couple of months soon, so we'll see how that goes. But there you go. He's a firm no. Kevin Jock is a firm no on a $30,000 purchase when you got to buy all that other stuff. He just bought a mint Sisfara for $2,600. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss, Kevin. You still got to find. You're still going to be challenged to drive them, and it took me a long time to find. There were only of everything I tried, and I tried everything. You guys know. Go back and look at those episodes. I went through so many amps trying to drive the Sisfara to really bring something special to them. The Enley M23R, the Bakun 13R, and the Ray Samuels here are the only three amps that really did something special with the Sisfara. Honestly, hard to believe that, but it's true. Those are the only three that really provided the crazy power I felt that the headphone needs. And a lot of it is capacitance. There's capacitors inside, and a lot of people don't go through the trouble of putting in massive capacitors that can release a lot of energy in a hurry to move a very tough to drive headphone. I think that's a lot of the issues. These other amps don't put in the capacitance that you need. But you know, you're still going to have to be struggling. You're going to be struggling a little bit to find the perfect Sisfara setup. I think you're in for some amp chasing. That's okay. That's part of the fun of the hobby. I don't think, I think you're going to hear them get better as you experiment with different, more high-powered gear. Michael, I think this is where the Valencia from Orchard Audio would really benefit the Imanis. Imagine your WA5LE as an active preamp into the fairly reasonably priced Valencia. It will do it. Okay. I don't know. I haven't tried it. Like a lot of this stuff, there's a lot of stuff people say will work. And like I said, the Riviera AIC-10 seems to be a universally accepted high quality amp for the Imanis. I just haven't heard it. I can't comment. I have heard other amps with it, and amps that they said were lots of power here. They just didn't try them. They didn't have the raw juice. A Flex Mentor Lab stack pushes out 33 watts up to 32 ohms. That's $3,000. I would say great, and I'm sure it will make them sound. I would be shocked if they gave you the kind of sound that would make you respect the headphone. I haven't tried it, I can't tell you. But I'm telling you that you need to be thinking about, it's not just about the numbers, it's about a lot of other factors along with the numbers. Capacitance, quality of the internal electronics, the way it's built, the resistors, the pots, all the stuff, how it's laid out. It needs to be a certain quality of amp before this thing will dance. ZMF is the Porsche of headphones. I agree. I love ZMF. Oh, we've got ZMF on the way for the show. An upcoming show will be a ZMF. I promise you. ZMF is really good, but I really got to give it to Spirit Torino. Man, their stuff is so well built. Italian bespoke quality. I tried the Spirit Torino. First of all, you don't have an appreciation for how wide they are until you see yourself in the mirror wearing them, and you've got Princess Leia buns coming out. I thought the Spirit Torino was exceptional. I don't know, for me, if they were worth the price. I thought they were good. I thought they were really good. But I don't know if they're for me. But I heard them at the show. I thought they were very good. I can tell you I did not like their little brother. And I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But I tried the little brother too. That was not a good experience. Torinos were good. I didn't think I would be interested in them at that price. They need to be more in the $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 range, and they're not. So, I know they're whatever they are, fine. It's just I don't. For my taste, I don't know that I would be into those. I would definitely want the Imanis before that, and I've heard both of them. And the actual physical layout. I mean, though they are as ridiculous as the Abyss 1266 TC to wear on your head. It's bananas. CFA is 15 watts, 50 ohms. I don't own one, and I'm not shilling here for Ed Amp, but that would be way more power. No, it wouldn't be. The B21 has more power than that. But CFA3 is a good amp. I don't know if it would do well with the Imanis or not. It's going to be... all I can say is the Imanis is very, very amp specific. And I'm telling you, I heard them on a $17,000 amp and went, they're okay. Viva Tube amp. $17,000. You've seen one of these things, the Vivas? You know what I'm talking about? Hang on, I'll show it to you. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is the amp I heard in the... Ready? Look at this. You can't even begin to judge the size of this thing. This thing is massive. This thing's every bit as big as my KSA amp, my Krell. 45 kilograms. I'm telling you. Maybe it was a Solista I heard, because I think it had the double row tubes. I didn't think it was single. I seem to remember it having the double row tubes. But at any rate, heard it on this, and I thought, heard the Amanus compared with this, and I'm like, I don't hear $10,000. I didn't. Now I was in a show setting, so maybe that was part of it, but I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. I'm being truthful with what I've heard and what I can tell. And I'm like, there are amps and there are amps, and there are very few that I think will drive the Amanus the way the Amanus needs to be driven to wring the most out of them. And I don't want to speak for other people, what they have heard, but I can promise you this. I auditioned them with somebody who has heard them on some very, very expensive, powerful amps. And when they heard the Amanus on the Ray Samuels, it made him stop. And he was normally a tube guy. And say, oh my gosh. Somebody who I think I and you would respect. I don't want to give their name away. They can talk about it if they want to, but it's more of a political thing. But I'm telling you, I was with somebody who I respect and has great ears, phenomenal ears, and they heard what I heard. So I'm like, okay, I'm not, and I'm not saying that makes me right and you're wrong or whatever. I'm just saying that I've got some verification. I'm not crazy about what I heard. Like, I'm not crazy that I heard what I heard. It was somebody I really respect. Heard the amp on on the B21 and went, oh my God. That's somebody who owns an Amanus. So I'm like, okay. So I'm not crazy. So I'm just saying they're really hard to drive. They're really hard to drive. So there you go. My opinion. Ken from Ken's Workshop. It's honestly tough to drag race with amps and specs. Yeah, go down to how both are measured. Also, that measurements don't fully correlate to sound. Measurements matter, they just don't tell all. Ken, and I agree with you. And if you remember, when we came here, Ken came over one day and we were listening to, it's at the time I had the B21 and I had the Malner audio, KGS SHV. And we're going back and forth. And I'm telling you right, I don't blow smoke. I tell you what I hear. And we were going back and forth between the Malner amp and the B21's E-stat side. Back and forth. The Malner beat it. The Malner had more air. It was just there was just a little something extra coming out of the Malner. And so that's why I've said that the Ray has built a world-class, terrific E-stat side amp that I think is the second best I've heard, and the best dynamic driver side amp that I heard. And it drives the Amanus, which is where this all came together anyway in the first place. So it's just tough. Yeah, you're right. I agree, Ken. The measurements just don't always tell you what you need to know. And you've got to use your ears. You've got to use your ears. Always use your ears. Nephilim says, Michael, I found the biggest yet heaviest headphone, I think, the planet in the world. The Airstitch Charbatis, 710 grams. Awesome headphone, though. Great, warm, relaxed sound. And you can get your neck exercises in with it. I'm going to Google this now. You know I'm going to do that, right? E-R-Z E-T-I-C-H. I'm going to mess the spelling up if I don't do it word for word. Char. There it is. Charbatis. Okay, here we go. Let's go take the mic back. Let's see them. Oh, they're doing the slow pan thing. Very good storytelling technique, by the way. Come on, give me more. Oh, another angle. Da, 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 da. 2001. Wow, these things look heavy. Yeah. Nephilim. $3,000, huh? I don't know why, but they really don't. But I do have, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that Final Audio designed. It just looks like something Final would design for some reason for me. It's got, like, you know, that big industrialized feel to them. Oh, this is Nephilim's. We're going to look at Nephilim's system here in a few minutes. We might as well do it now. This is our viewer system for the day. It comes from Nephilim himself. Sent me photos of his new FiO rig. This is the FiO FT5, because I did some homework, just a little. And what he's changed about this system is he's put a power conditioner in the system now, which we're going to see in a second. It's a ridiculous, huge ass power plug situation going on, but he's saying he hears the difference. Gets improved sound. It removes EMF from his line. So here's the one. Here's the stack, the DAC, and the amp. There's the plug. There's the new. This is the new power EMF filter for his power. And of course, he's got his final D8000s. We've seen this picture before. Very cool. There it is. This is the EMF filtering power cable that Nephilim just installed in his system. That big, huge thing. That big, huge snake. Crawling king snake. All right. Nephilim, thank you so much for sending photos our way. I love photos, guys. I love getting good photo. And I love checking out your rigs. So if you have a system to send in, you can send it to directorsgarage@gmail.com. Directorsgarage@gmail.com. Send in your viewer pics, and we'll talk about them on the air. And I love doing that kind of thing. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Good stuff. Nephilim, thank you so much for sending your photos in today. So we've seen that FiO K11 it's an R2R DAC. And then it's paired with the FiO amp. But the main thing that he put in new was that power conversion. And he's having a lot of fun with his FiO headphones, which I still haven't had enough time to spend haven't been able to spend much time with. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I am Jay in the house. Hey, Jonathan. And congrats, my friend. Jonathan's, is it a choir or choral group? Jonathan is a part of a choir, and he just won an award. They just won some award. I saw that on Facebook, and I want to take some time at night and go and listen to your recording. So excited for Jonathan. He's got a great voice and an impeccable, shall we say, taste in music and gear. People can play power with gain. Two different characteristics, of course. Power is the power out of it. Gain is the sensitivity. I always equate. Camera settings. ISO is your sensitivity or your gain, and when you increase your gain, you increase the grain because you're putting more sensitivity on the amp. You're making the amp more sensitive. It's going to reveal its flaws. His Cord Alto 4300 has more gain than his recently sold B21 Raider amp. Yes, but it has nowhere near the power. And you are just increasing gain, which is sensitivity. That's not going to give you as much power, it'll give you loudness, but it's not going to give you power because you're just increasing the sensitivity of the circuit. Okay, I'm Jonathan. You certainly are rewarded with different source changes. The Imanis is revealing of changes. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, every little thing on the Imanis it's gonna show up for you. If you also recall, when I compared, I had the DIY CFA3. The CFA3, for those of you who don't know, the amp, it's a Kevin Gilmore design, so the plans are shareware. Anybody can download them and build this if they want. And what Headamp has done, Justin Wilson, is he's built his own CFA3, selling the CFA3, which is Kevin Gilmore's design, but he's doing it in his own way, with his own hardware and software and all that shit. And it's why it looks so pretty. It's amazing. Yeah, you're definitely, every little source change on the Imanis is going to make sense, is going to make a difference. All kinds of stuff. And you find yourself, I'm sure there are reasons you would counter some sources for others because of the nature of the headphone. Like, this is a little brighter. You probably don't want to pair it with a super bright DAC, whatever, that kind of thing. You want to kind of balance that out and find something that's a little more neutral so that, your end result won't be peaky. But it's just going to be it's a lot of trial and error and to get the chain you want. I just happened to hit it here with something that impressed me. May not impress you, but impressed me, and I tell you about it on this show. If you recall, when we compared the CFA3, after comparing to the Race amp, which was clearly better, he changed the caps, resistors on the CFA3, no power output change, but the sound changed. Sure, all that stuff makes a difference. You're so right, Ken. Ken builds amps on the side. He built his own version of the CFA3. Changing the internal components is going to change everything. And, if you're using a different cap with even a slightly different spec, but even a different quality, they used a different electrolyte in the cap, it's going to behave differently. It's going to give you different sounds when it's combined with other different things in the chain. Everything makes a difference. And the way it's put together and the order with which the circuit progresses, because not everybody does things in the same order. Most of them do, but some of them don't. It's going to make a difference. Don't think it beats the Ray amp, though. Ken, to me, I love the sound of that amp. And if you want to build one for me, go ahead. No. I would say this. Your amp is special because you built it. And it's yours. And it's a sound that you created. Be happy with that. Drink to that. Honestly. You built a phenomenal amplifier. I don't care. Who cares if it's as good as this or as good as that? You built a phenomenal amplifier that's fun to listen to, and it's got grace. It's a graceful amp. It sounds beautiful. Be happy. Be happy. I'm happy for you. Wish I had one here. Build one for me. It's not a matter of beating it. Just a matter of you built it, man. Enjoy it. It's phenomenal. I wish you all could hear it. Ken built an amazing amp with phenomenal, over-engineered the hell out of it. He'll even tell you, I over-engineered this, I over-engineered that. Fine. That's what's great about it. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Just enjoy the experiences that you're having. Take the minute to enjoy it, to put your headphones on. Look at what we just looked at from Nephilim, from Nicholas. We looked at this system. This isn't going to kill anybody's back. It's not cheap, but you're not going to go broke if you put this system together. The FTI is what, $500? $450, $500, something like that. Probably get a deal on him somewhere. He's got a nice setup here. And I'll bet you he enjoys the hell out of this. That's what it's about, guys. It's not about finding the end game. It's fun to listen to the end game, and I'm telling you, I had an amazing magical experience here. Having that system here. It was special. But you know what else was nice? I had for a long time, the last week or two, I had out the old 007 Mark I from Stax. Just had them plugged in, checking out some music. Nice, comfortable headphone. Even these, as much as I knock them, they've got great sound. You know, I just beat the hell out of this amp, right? Out of this headphone, right? I complained about every little thing about this headphone. I complained about the band and the clasp and this and that. You know what? Excellent comfort. Barely notice they're on your head, right? I'm going to give them some love now. Excellent. One of the great sound stages. I hate this mechanism, though, boys. I hate it. One of the great sound stages of this era, from this headphone right here. This headphone right here. Like, width-wise. Very few headphones will give you the width experience of the Stax SRX 9000. Phenomenal. Great experience. Even that's overkill for what I need, you know. One of the best experiences I've had in the last 2 years, and I go back to this because it was just so special, was at Can Jam. Ken from Ken's Workshop was there. And this is last year, not this year's Can Jam, the year before. And Zach had just come out with his Bokeh Open, and he had a 1 or 2 pair on the floor. These are $1,000-ish, maybe $1,100 because they had the fancy cups, the fancy grill on it. I think you get them for $850 for a time. I don't know what they are now. Bokeh Open back with his homage. It's a tiny little 1930s radio-looking amplifier. Did a nice little vintage look to it. It was gorgeous, just gorgeous. I'm like, I could have this. I could put this in my house, in a room, and I could be happy. This would be more than enough. More than enough. You can get great experiences and not spend 10 grand on an amp, not spend 10 grand on a headphone. So don't think you have to do this stuff, and don't think that it's, you know, I get lucky because I got to play in the high, you know, in the deep end of the pool every now and then. Somebody takes pity on me and sends me something really cool that I have to send back. But you don't need that. You don't need it. I'll tell you what it sounds like, though, and what I love about it. And I'll tell you if I didn't think it was particularly great. You know, and in the case of this, look how much I bitched about these today. I spent a good 5 minutes bitching about every component of this. I bought them. I paid for these. I bought them. My own money. I don't buy something that I didn't think was good. I'm just saying that there are things about this headphone that annoy the crap out of me. They still sound great. You need a little bass. Just need a little bass. Just need to boost those things in the ass a little bit. A little push-up panties or something. His favorite pairing of the Audeze was the Riviera IC10. Yeah, John, I was just talking about that before you got on. I said people have raved about the AIC10, and I haven't heard it yet, so I can't compare. But I would love to hear. I would love to hear one because of the reaction I've had through the B21. So I'd love to hear that. That would be so fun to shoot out someday. Because I've got the 21, and I'm telling you, I know it's special. Is it as good as the AIC10? I would love to see if I liked it more. You know, as good. I mean, you know, at this stage, the thing about the Ray Samuels, or sorry, not the Ray Samuels, the Amanis, is honestly, like, I think it's as good as the HE1 when it's amped right. I really do. I think that it's as good a headphone as the HE1. The HE1 is, you know, it's unobtainium. This is fairly unobtainium. It's unobtainium light, but you could get into this in theory. Still going to cost, look at the cost. You'd be 30 grand into a rig with the Imanis, and it's 50 grand ish for the HE1. Okay, oh, it's a bargain then, right? No, I think I had, and I think at that point you're talking it's different, not better or worse. I think it's as good. It's like I didn't hear anything in the, I probably shouldn't say anything about it, but I was going to make an analogy to the HiFiman, which is a really good sounding E-stat. The Shangri-La Senior. Anyway, Jonathan's choir won #1 spot in the men's chorus category in the choir of the world competition. Look at that man. Look at that. That is so awesome, man. And I know he's on, if you want to, feel free, Jonathan, to drop a link into the chat. I'm sure people would like to hear it, and it's beautiful. And feel free to promote it there. Drop it in the chat if you want. I would be more than happy to let people check out what a #1 in the world choir sounds like. Fantastic. At the end of the day, no matter what, the Imanis was a terrible value. I'd never recommend the Imanis unless money is no issue for you. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Neil. Value propositions, I don't think you can talk about value when you get into the high end like this anyway. I agree with you. There is no piece of high-end audio that will ever be considered a value. You're talking about spending, this is expendable money that you have because you want something special. It's just a matter of, is it worth it to you? That's a question everybody has to make for themselves. But I like to share the experience. This is what it sounds like, because it is a cost no object experience for sure. Fantastic. And the other thing I say is, please, folks, please, let's listen to this. Zoom in on me. Don't go into debt to pay for audio gear. I mean this with as your big brother or father, if you're young enough. Do not go into debt to buy audio gear. Please, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not an investment. It doesn't go up in value. It's a depreciating asset and a luxury product. Audiophile gear is a luxury product. It is not an investment. You will be lucky to lose $500 on a headphone when you buy one. You will be lucky to lose money on a product if you buy it new. That's why I tell people to buy used and don't go into debt over audio gear. This public service announcement brought to you by the Director's Garage. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You cannot, it's an endless hole. You're gonna wind up paying for 30 years for something you bought that broke and you got rid of. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go into debt. Don't put it on that credit card. Pay cash or don't buy it. And buy used if you can. There's no point in buying new stuff. You're just paying a markup. Okay. His opinion is the opposite of that. It's very pricey, but you don't need to get an experience like it at any price. Well, and I agree, but Jonathan, I don't think it comes down to need, right? I get what you're saying. There's no question that it is an experience like no other. I would say go somewhere and borrow somebody's to get the experience. But you don't need to get this to have a great headphone experience at home. There are some really good products out there now that you can get into a very nice sound. Look at how great something like the Tungsten, or we were just talking about before, a used Sisvara, now under $3,000, buy almost a brand new pair for under $3,000. You got to be foolish not to be jumping into that pool. It's like, you get, unless you're worried about amp chasing, I can see it. But, you've got some great products out there. You've got all of these EMFs out there at like $2,000-3,000. Phenomenal. Caldera, Atrium, all of them. They're just great. HiFiman. HiFiman. Sorry, I got a piece of ice in my mouth. HiFiman now has products for any budget, up to $40,000. You can go from $400, $300, $200, all the way up to $40,000. They've got a product for you, and they all sound good. It's going to come down to preference. Do you like it? The HE1's not, or the HE1000 is not for everyone. The different things around it, not for everyone. It's going to be, they have some little peaky in the upper mids. You could always go over to the Atrium by ZMF and get yourself a beautifully smoothed over headphone. You can go to the Caldera, get something that's really dynamic and punchy. You could go to the, I'm just saying, like, there are so many great, you can go to the Meze, get world-class comfort, with a silky, smooth, beautiful, crisp headphone, with no peaks in it anywhere. A little slower than some of the other headphones, but beautiful headphone. There's so much out there, is my point. You don't need to go up to the Imanis to have a good experience. The Imanis is a special experience. It's like driving a Ferrari. It's like driving a Lamborghini. It's like driving a McLaren. It is a hyper car. It's a hyper headphone. As is the HE1, as is the Shangri-La Senior, and maybe even the Spirit Torino given its price. I don't think the Spirit Torino drives as well as these other cars. just to completely mutilate a metaphor. That's what I do, boys. Mutilating metaphors, one at a time. Okay. Imanis needs a power headphone, a power amplifier, not a headphone amplifier. That's why the Valencia is so compelling. It needs a lot of things, though. It's a thin needle to thread, and I've only heard a few amps that really do thread that needle. And Danny sells some phenomenal amps for it too. He does some work with importers, and he's working on people getting the ribbon, so you don't need the little external converter. He's getting them built into the amplifier now. Somebody asked about that too in the chat, and I'm like, it's not a special amp built for that headphone. It's a normal amplifier with the circuit from the down converter, from the step down transformer inside the amp. It's exact same circuitry though. There's nothing special going on there. For the money as well. Honestly, he would want to get a Valencia for his HD-800. He bet it would be awesome. Nephilim, I am considering, based on somebody who has spoken to me recently, we had him in the chat, I would be very considering, if I was back in money, which I'm not right yet. I need a job. Still need a job, boys. Got some stuff cooking. I've got a gig planned. I've got a shooting gig on Monday. I'm not going to be paid tremendously well, but it'll be another real estate gig shooting on Monday. But anyway, if I get back into money, one of the things I would love to try is something that Gene Fruit turned me on to. And he said there's a company called Jupiter Audio that is modding HD-800s. And Gene has one of the best tastes in audiophile gear of anybody I know. And for $3,000, they will revamp your HD-800. And I hear from Gene that the results are spectacular, like world-class beating. So much so that he has an Imanis and his HD-800 is his daily driver. But it says Jupiter Audio modded HD-800. Look it up. You're welcome, Jupiter Audio, for the free plug. Yeah, we did the Krell. Well, I did that at Danny insisted that I pull out the Krell. He said, "You've got to, man. You got to do it." I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "It'll be fine. Don't worry about it." Okay. 100% as good, if not better. Again, Jonathan, I think at that price it's different. You're talking about different. Does it sound better? That's going to be up to your own opinion, but I 100% think that it's a different experience. You're either going to love the one or love the other. I think they both have merit. And it's been a long time since I heard the HE1. It's been years now. I've always felt, there are guys that go to Can Jam and like they want to get as many sessions with the HE1 as they can, because it's off in a side room and you got to kind of arrange for it. And I heard it once and I had my experience with them. And it was back when they were brand new. It was the first year they were out, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I got in. And now they let you listen to it with anything. Back then, they selected the 5 tracks you got to hear. But it was special. It was special. But it's been a long time. I should probably hear them fresh again. Because I have different ears now than I had then anyway. I have a different appreciation. We need to hear Jonathan on the Amanus. Yes. Neil's only into IEMs. He bought the Tipsy M3 off Amazon. Incredibly balanced with pinpoint imaging and excellent detail. $220. Driving them with his Cord Dave is otherworldly for the price. Yeah, I think for me, like one of the best budgets that I've heard, and I don't know if they're finally out. It took them years to come out, but the 7 Hertz Timeless was one of my very favorite IEMs because they were just $200. I would recommend them to anybody. They are planar magnetic driver IEMs for $200 that beat $1,000 IEMs. I would advise anybody who is interested in IEMs, and it's not, this is pizza money. $200. Get a pair of 7 Hertz Timeless. I think they have the Timeless 2 out now. Get a pair of those and try them because they're spectacular. Like, they'll just amaze you what you can get out of a $200 product for IEMs. But yeah, I haven't heard these the Tipsy's M3s, but I'd love to try those too sometime. We can give them a shot, I don't spend a lot of time on IEMs other than for my workout. I don't spend a lot of time on IEMs besides my, for my workouts, which I already told you. I developed this little problem with the Nobles the last couple of days, but they seem to have corrected themselves. I'm not sure. Well, this is a stay tuned, but I may have to be picking up another pair of TWSs for my workouts. Shame. I've been with these for years. How long have these been out now? Like 3-4 years? 4 years? Oh, been part of my daily routine for 4 years. Sad when they start going on you. Like, oh, these have been to Africa with me. These have been to, Mexico to Hong Kong. They've been everywhere, all over the world with me. I'm Jay. Jonathan says, no Nephilim, we don't need to hear that. I hate my own voice recorded. Yeah, but Jonathan, I would just say this. You should have some confidence in it because somebody else judged you as the number one choir, which means you've got something going on. There's something worth sharing. And great music is worth sharing. So I would encourage you to go ahead and put a link down in the chat for us to go and check out your gear. And, nobody is going to embarrass. No, we're here to enjoy and to share and to hear, to listen. So I don't feel any shame about that at all. I can't wait. I do have the link. I just am not gonna. It's up to you to share it, not me. But I want to hear. I can't wait to spend some time here, listen to your choir that won an award, folks. Won an award. Hipster cow in the house, my buddy. Yes. Part of the Audeze crew. We got the whole Audeze crew to get today. We've had Ken from Ken's Workshop. We have Jonathan, and Hipster Cow. We got Sajan. All of us made the trek down to the Audeze factory in January. Here we are again, boys. All together. Was that before or after the fires? I think that was before the fires, wasn't it? Gotta look that up. When did that happen? God, such a year. It's hard to believe that the year has been a year. No, it was after. It was the Friday after the fires. Oh, man. The Friday after the fires, we went down to Audeze. Wow. Wow. So the fires were still going on at that point. It took them weeks to put the thing out. Unbelievable. Okay. Hipster, howdy, man. Ken's Workshop says, mics matter a ton. He creates some training for work, hated the sound until he got a real mic. I still kind of hate it, but less bad. That 77DX we were hearing, now that's a mic. I have a few. I have a few mics. And I did one episode where I used, I think, a Shure mic. I had two different Shure mics. I used that mic back there, but it needs this one needs rewiring. Or this mic just sounds terrible. But I think the Unidyne, this is the Shure 55, I think. It's 54 for, yeah, 55S. This is the 55S. Sounds terrible. It needs a refresh. It's more of a decoration than not a real mic. I have a remake of that design though that they did for its anniversary. Beautiful. They did the big boy head on it, and fat boy. They call it the fat head, I think. So and it sounds great. And then I have the Neumann U87, which is that's chef's kiss. This mic I think sounds great. I don't think it sounds as good as my U87, but I'm attached to this mic. I found this mic. I curated finding this mic. It was the mic that I really wanted for this show, to do this show, because I think it makes a statement. I have considered occasionally changing mics for the fun of it. It's a trademark of the show. So I'm not going to mess with my own trademark. You know what I mean? Like, I think that this is as much of a symbol of the director's garage as that logo on the monitor back there. That much I'm convinced of. But this mic is a pain in the ass. This has been, I handle this with kid gloves. It never goes away. It never gets put away. It stays on this rig. I have to occasionally tighten the shock mount because there's a screw up there that comes loose. And I think once or twice on the live stream, it actually fell off when I moved it. It just does that. You have to put the little wing nut screw back, or the little nut back on the shock mount. But it just stays out all the time. It always lives on my desk. It's on an arm. The arm swings away when I'm working. It comes out when I need to make a recording. I have a backup mic over here. This is a Rode. Why do I have this? Because for a quick voiceover, I don't want to have to turn on a tube preamp, wait for the thing to heat up, turn on my Symphony desktop thing. If I want to do something quick and I need a quick, decent sounding mic, this one sounds good. It's a very nice sounding mic for a USB mic. One of the better ones I've heard. But it goes right in. I can just click it on and it goes. This has a little more texture to it. I think the U87 is even a richer microphone, more detailed microphone. Fantastic. I used it for recording Mrs. Director's audiobook, which she did 2 years ago. I recorded the whole thing on the U87 in a little portable mic booth that I have, and it came out good. But this is the show. This is as much as part of the show as I am. I could just not show up and just put the mic on camera for an hour and nobody would watch. Most of the time his voice is being recorded in an open hall auditorium. He's not specifically mic'd, it's just a live recording. Yeah, they use there's a Neumann mic that they use for that, capsule mic. And they're usually really small, they're short. As opposed to long shotguns. They have some long shotguns that carry this stuff. There's these short little capsule mics that are perfect for recording concert halls. They just put a couple of them around the place and mixed stereo. Yeah, after the fires. That was during the fires because he was at his parents' house. That's right. Crazy times. Can you believe it's been that long? Man. Guys, I just got to say, what a time we are to be in love with this hobby. They're incredible options regardless of price. You can do a lot. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, this year there are 2 products under $1,000 that will give you a really nice, fun experience with some great electronics in them. This is one of them, the Noble Apollo. And then if you wanted to upscale the sound, but didn't care about some things like noise cancellation, which these do very well, if you're willing to give back some of that noise cancellation and want a really nice sounding, the FoKus Batiste, all under $1,000 with incredible electronics, and you can answer phone calls on them. Can't do much better than that, boys. I mean, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good day. Now, are they going to give you the fidelity of some of the other things? No, but they're pretty good. They sound really nice, and I think comes a point at which you got to say, though, that's really good, and frankly, it's good enough. But if you want that cost no object situation, well, then there's room for that. There's certainly room for growth there too. Okay, just looking for something. It's fun though. It's a lot of fun. This hobby is a blast, and even when when people disagree, the best thing I like about this community is that we disagree in an agreeable way. Nobody's an idiot. Nobody's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's just like, I'd like to point out that I think you're full of shit. And I'm like, I appreciate that you think I'm full of shit, but I'm not. And we can still get up and laugh about it the next day. That's the best part, man. That's the best part. That's what I love about this stuff. There's people who disagree with me vehemently and just don't like my reviews and this and that. I'm like, that's fine. But for the most part, the core people in this audience, they're cool with it. I can't just disagree with them. That's all. No big deal. It's okay to disagree. So much fun. Fellas, I'm going to sign off in just a couple minutes here. Mrs. Director just walked in the house. I'm going to go do some walking with her. I already did my big walk, but I'll go do some micro walks. She's got to get her foot healing back in from her broken foot this summer. Jonathan, thank you so much for stopping by today. Hipster Cow, it's the old group. This is the OGs. Neil's here. Jonathan, Nicholas, all the best folks. This is great. It's like the all-star lineup today in the audience. Fantastic. Yeah, the Maxwell. That was a great headphone. We got to hear that one. That was. I would love to get a Maxwell in here. I should have petition Audeze. They should send me something. One of the ones who was generally impressed when we went to Audeze. Yeah, absolutely. That was great. And so was the Carbon too. It was a nice sounding headphone. Is it an end-all be-all? I don't know. I think I've heard it now. It's for sale. I'm selling a bunch of headphones right now. I'm selling the Abyss 1266 TC, and I'm selling the Carbon 2. I'd even sell this X9000 if somebody wanted to give me a decent price for it. I'd happily sell it with the wooden box and all that. So got to change some stuff over, turn some stuff over, pay some people that I need to pay, like the electric bill. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me today. Thank you so much for coming out here. I love that we got the old band back together. This is the OG Patreon crew in the house. Fantastic stuff. Head over to Patreon if you want. We'll have a new episode next month. coming in November, which is just a few days away. And yeah, I'll see you guys before. Next episode is going to be an eStat episode. It's going to be a mystery box. I think you're going to love it. Cheers, everyone. Have a good night.
Let's hang out and get wasted at the director's garage. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, it's time to get juiced at